y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a story for you. It's a little older stories from 2022, but it ties into all the other stories that I've been bringing you on digitalization and how these things are going to tie together with CBDC, digital wallets, cell phones, bank accounts. All those things are going to link together. And I shared a story with you yesterday about how Nigeria and Jamaica are like pilot nations. Um, they've been doing quite a few pilot projects over the last 3 years, but right now in Nigeria, they're getting ready to close bank accounts for people who refuse to get digital IDs. And I found this article um, where last year they were blocking mobile phone service for people who did not have their SIM cards registered in the digital um, database. I think it's called NIN. So I'm going to read this story to you. It's found on Thomas Reuters Foundation News, and I will put a link to this in the description. The article is dated Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. And let's see. It says the government says the crackdown will boost security and stop crime, but rural and poor citizens cut off from family and business contacts. So this article, people who refuse to get the digital ID basically were cut off. And I don't know if they knew this, they got some kind of warning, or they're just like, they're not complying, so let's do this. But in any event, I want to share this because this is what is coming to America. So we need to pay attention to what's happening in other places and get ready for it to come here, because we're going to have to make decisions about, how we're going to live and what we're going to do, but it's what are going to be the alternatives if we decide to opt out of the beast system, or if we decide that, this is a bridge too far. So anywho, let me get into the story. Outgoing calls bar on mobile SIMs not linked to NIN database. 1/3 of mobile users blocked for failing to comply. Nigerians raise concerns over privacy, data security, and access. And so the authors of the story are noted below. Owerri, Nigeria, April 20th. And I apologize, I don't know how to pronounce these names, so I'm doing the best I can. I'm sure I'm butchering them, but just forgive my ignorance. Constance Chioma calls her son every morning to check that he is safe while studying in northeast Nigeria, a region plagued by deadly attacks by Islamist insurgents and armed kidnappings. That would be me. So, I'm really, thinking now, like, how do we communicate? Um, with people that we care about who are not local, because, it's one thing when you live in the same town or a small town, you can just walk or get in your car and drive to somebody's house. But when they live in a totally different state, it's really difficult to, just even a different county, and things are breaking out and things are happening. How are we going to communicate? Are we going to get walkie talkies? Are we getting ham radios? Like, what's the plan? So those are some things that we really need to consider, thinking about long term. We're gonna have CBs. Like, what's the deal? So I don't know, but anywho, I'm just throwing some things out there, thinking out aloud. Please, share your ideas in the comment section so that others can kind of get an idea of some alternatives that we may have. And I say may loosely because The powers that be appear to want to control everything, all communications. Earlier this month, she could not get through. She later realized her SIM card a was one of about 73 million. That is a lot of people. More than a third of the 198 million in Nigeria, which have been barred from making outgoing calls because they have not registered in the National Digital Identity Database. I could not concentrate at work. I was uneasy and constantly asking myself if he was safe, said Chioma, a 57-year-old teacher in Owerri City in southeast Nigeria. With the rising insecurity in the north, not speaking with my son makes me afraid. Nigeria is among dozens of African countries, including Ghana, Egypt, and Kenya, with SIM registration laws that authorities say are necessary for security purposes. But digital rights experts say increased surveillance and hurts privacy. So the SIM program is basically for people who have like prepaid cell phones or throwaway cell phones. You don't have a monthly bill, you don't have a plan, just like it's just prepaid. Or, you get the card and you stick it in there, but anybody can buy a card. You can go to the store and buy a card, put it in the phone, and just put your uh, account information in there or load it. And you don't necessarily have to have any sort of identification information. It doesn't require a credit check, no social security number. I don't know if they have all this in Nigeria, but I'm just thinking from an American perspective. There has to be some way to tie it to who you are, to your true identity. And so because you can't do that with a SIM card, they are requiring that SIM cards for cell phones are connected to the digital IDs. And you understand why they want that, because the cell phones are going to be connected to all the digital things. Nigeria has been rolling out 11-digit electronic national identity cards for almost a decade, which blah, which record an individual's personal and biometric data, including fingerprints and photo. The national identity number, NIN, is required to open a bank account, apply for a driver's license, vote, get health insurance, and file tax returns. So understand that is what is coming here. So when they tell you you got to have this number and you got to this is your mark. This is the mark. Um, it's going to be on the cell phone. It's going to be everywhere you go, and they will know everything that you do, every move you make, anything you purchase, anytime you go to the doctor, anytime you get money, anytime you swipe your little card or use your QR code. When you go to vote, they will know if you voted. They will know everything you did, if you filed taxes, if you didn't file taxes, if you paid, if you're getting money under the table, and all of that is going to be cut out. So in 2020, Nigeria's telecommunications regulator said every active mobile phone number must be linked to the user's NIN. It repeatedly extended the deadline until March 31st this year, which was last year in 2022. So kind of gave people 2 years to do it. I mean, it's nice to know, that they're going to give you some time to comply. So it gives you time to get your life together if you want to resist. But the day is coming where the price will have to be paid because of the resistance. And so you need to be prepared for that. The government said outgoing calls were being barred from April the 4th from any mobile phone numbers that had not complied. So you can't make calls, but you could receive calls. Millions of Nigerians have not registered their SIM cards for reasons ranging from concerns over privacy to problems reaching registration centers or not having a NIN. There have been no reasonable explanations as to why we have to link NIN to our SIM, said Nika Orji, a journalist in southeast Nigeria who has not registered her SIM. For that reason, I am not ready to do that. She told the Thomson Reuters Foundation. She now relies on WhatsApp to make calls, even though not all of her contacts use the messaging service. Now that's interesting because I just read a story about WhatsApp the other day, and it seems like the WhatsApp thing was spying on people or something. Let me see what it said. I'm sorry to be jumping all over the place. Let me go to news. Um, they were. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, here it is. WhatsApp cannot be trusted. Elon Musk slams app as users claim it's listening to them. So there was a story about a conveniently a Twitter user talking about the microphones on WhatsApp were opening up and recording them in ungodly hours when they were asleep. So the phone continued to access the microphone and was recording whatever noises were in the room wherever the phone was. And it was an Android phone. So, anywho, I am going to not get into this story, but I will include it in the description because it's going to tie into this story about how, you know, when you try to find a workaround, they're going to block the workaround. So you have to really, be comfortable with not using technology at the end of the day and being on the internet for communication. So you're going to need to be coming up with plans for your people to communicate. Officials have said the policy is needed to bolster security and identify criminals as the government battles insurgents and armed bandits who have kidnapped hundreds of people for ransom. Nigeria's 12-year war with insurgent Islamists have spawned one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, killing over 350,000 people, according to the UNDN estimates, including indirect deaths through damage to agriculture and healthcare. Losing customers. The push to get citizens to link their mobiles to the national ID database has sparked alarm among privacy activists who warn that African governments are using new technology and laws to increase surveillance of citizens and dissidents. So people are pushing back and complaining, but they're not talking about it. Nigeria's order to bar unregistered phones is an infringement on the rights to freedoms of expression and privacy guaranteed by its constitution, said human rights lawyer Festus Ogun, managing partner at Festus Ogun Legal in Lagos. What law empowers them to shut out millions of citizens in this digital economy, he said, referring to people relying on their phones for banking, mobile money payments, and accessing government service. So, like, they're going to require you to use your phone for all these things, then tell you if you don't get this digital ID, we're going to turn your phone off. So, like, you're just going to be a slave. That's what I gather. The borrowing of mobile phones has especially hurt women in rural areas with patchy mobile networks and poor road networks who may lack the means to go to registration centers, according to human rights groups. Charity Elm, a street food vendor in Awara Village in southeast Imo State, said she could not afford to travel to the registration center in Owerri City, about 60 kilometers or 37 miles away. Some of my regular customers come from Owerri. With my line bar, I cannot call them to find out if they want to place an order, she said. They will probably go to other vendors. So here it is, you can buy and you can sell. There are nearly 800 registration centers in Nigeria, one in each local government office, according to official data. The NIMC did not respond to a question on their accessibility. Others worry that their personal details will not be secure. It says, I don't think the NIMC and telcos have the right infrastructure to protect my data, said Favor Akachukwu, a call center agent in Ibadan in southwest Nigeria, who has not registered his phone. Akachukwu said he has received numerous calls from fraudsters who had his 11-digit bank verification number, which is required to hold a bank account in Nigeria, and were trying to get further details from him to access his account. So it says war on crime. In Kenya, too, authorities have directed citizens to register their SIM cards, citing security reasons. East African nation has almost 65 million mobile subscribers. So I don't want to keep on reading this. I will, again, include this link in the description. But this is coming to us again. Look at it well, understand that this is our future, so we need to be preparing. Look at what's happening outside of the country and figure out plans or workarounds, or how you're going to make concessions, or whatever you have to do. But you need to spiritually and physically be preparing. Continue to pray, continue to prep. Do not have fear. Continue to seek the Most High for wisdom and guidance on how to navigate these situations. Pray for your brothers and sisters that they wake up. Pray for the Gentiles so they can get off of us, because they just wilding out in these streets. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to my backup channels on Odyssey and Rumble in the event this channel goes down. And, if you feel led to, you are happy to donate, there is a link in the description for coffee and Venmo. I am Marley K, bringing you this good information so that you can keep watch, keep your lamps filled with oil, and understand your redemption is nigh. Keep looking up, because something got to rescue us from this nonsense. I'm Marley K, and I am